digital age. GPS is clearly the favourite fix of the present, and it's come a long way since the very first outfits I ever saw, which was a huge device, twice the size of a double wardrobe, installed aboard the QE2 in about 1972. But it sometimes does fail. Just last month I was told, and curiously coincidental to the US decision to turn off Loran C, GPS all around the city of San Diego went absolutely berserk. San Diego is a sizable American town, and it's also the headquarters of at least one US Pacific fleet. But I understand the chaos, both afloat and ashore, was really quite considerable. Alternatives, which might involve a bit more seamanship, or navigation aids which might not be quite so vulnerable, like E-Loran, could be a very worthwhile element of insurance in a world in which we could just about see lunatics with electronic jamming devices causing mayhem. Your organisation, Mr. President, can have a very important role in setting out these practical problems in the appropriate international fora. Indeed, it is in its international scope and practical background that IALA brings so much practical good sense to these important debates about a number of navigational dilemmas facing the industry. The long and distinguished record of IALA in promoting harmonisation becomes very relevant as we move into the age of virtual aids to navigation, a core element of e-navigation, and one that so badly needs the best possible practical input. In recent years, there has been something of concern at the lack of harmony with non-standard equipment, making it harder and harder for officers to be safely switched between ships without extensive retraining. But this is a very, very practical problem. It could get a lot worse before it gets better. There has sometimes been a sense that it has been the manufacturers who have often been calling the shots, with the bewildered users forced to put up with what they are told they need. IALA and its practical expertise conferred by its working members is doing a great deal to restore order to this confusing situation, providing real leadership and guidance. The sense that the IALA membership is going in the same direction towards common aims will prove to be so very important in the near future, as vital decisions have to be made about the shipping industry's employment of exciting new technology. We badly need more harmonisation in a global industry which is always threatened by unilateralism and regionalism, and an industry, moreover, where in extremis we inevitably panic in our own language, which might be a perfect cue to mention the useful and important work being done in the harmonisation of vessel traffic services, with the development of model courses and the practical enhancement of communication between ship and VTS ashore. How obvious and how useful it all is when you think of the long-standing harmonisation of voyage that has led the mariner into port for about 50-odd years. How useful it would be to be able to pick up your VHF handset with the confidence that the VTS or indeed vessel traffic management ashore will be to the same universal high standard, no matter where you are. And that really is something well worth aiming for. And the fact that IALA is largely composed of a network of like-minded members who pursue a technical, practical, and above all non-political agenda must be considered the glue that binds this organisation together and makes it work so very well. And if you're looking for a demonstration of this, how this actually can work, you don't have to look any further than the recent IALA meeting on the marking of polar routes and the resolution that it produced. There was no grandstanding about global warming or the terrible fate of polar bears. There was no political interventions about whether Baffin Island is owned by the Canadians or the Americans, or sovereignty over subpolar oil fields. It was experts from 5 Arctic nations getting together because they recognised that between them they can make Arctic navigation safer. It was an important initiative that has borne so much fruit. It sort of makes you wonder, doesn't it, whether IALA could have its remit expanded to take over the governance of other knotty problems outside that of our maritime industry, even like economics or world banking. But perhaps its success lies, in fact, in the fact that it sticks to things it knows about and to which it can bring real expertise and practical knowledge. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken for long enough. There is a huge amount to look forward to this week in an exciting agenda that has been designed with a great deal of thought. My only slight sorrow being that if our excellent South African hosts, whose organisation has been so brilliant, had mainly just extended their programme with a few more sessions, we might have been able to take in a World Cup game or two. If I have any conclusions to leave you with, it is not to put all your trust in technology. Value your seafarers, not just during this celebratory year. And do continue to exercise real leadership in places like IMO and elsewhere, where your practical expertise is so very valuable. Please, Mr. President, forgive any hyperbole, and remember I work as a journalist. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Grad. On behalf of the conference organizers, I'd like to offer his gift as a token of our appreciation. Thank you very much. It was inspiring. I'd like to just inform you of some logistic arrangements. Obviously, there's a lot of effort that goes into organizing a conference such as this. There's a lot of lead times in terms of putting programs together, and quite often there might be a change in the program. So if you look in the pigeonholes, which are located directly opposite the registration area, you will find your name should be on a pigeonhole, and any change to the program will be informed via a daily news bulletin that will be available. It looks something like this, and it's called the Farboard. And somewhere on this program, amongst the information relating to the social events and interesting things to do and see in Cape Town, you will see a program update. So if there's going to be any changes in the program, you will have notification of that in your pigeonholes. There will be spare copies available at the General Information Desk. I'd just like to also take this opportunity to thank SAMSA, the South African Maritime Safety Authority, for their kind sponsorship of the opening ceremony, as well as the social events tonight. Thank you very much, SAMSA. We now break for tea, and if everyone could be back in the auditorium at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much.